Many of us know the feeling of having this impulse or automatic reaction. Sometimes we just grab food and start eating and we don't even know why anymore. We're just running on autopilot. This can be really frustrating, especially if you're trying to change your diet for the better. This is why I made this video today, to actually answer the question of some of the subscribers who directly contacted me to ask for feedback and ideas on how to react to this. I'm going to go through the situation, the tips I have to deal with the situation, and then finally I'll be also talking a little bit about my personal example and experience when it comes to the topic. So stay around for the entire video to hear about all this. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to support me. It helps me a great deal. Liking is also great, and commenting definitely awesome, so I can also have your feedback and know how to make better videos in the future. Now let's get going. So when you eat unconsciously and you don't really know why this happens, or you just get really frustrated because it seems like you're on autopilot and very often you just seem to grab food and eat without really paying much attention. This can seem very frustrating, and the first thing you need to do is kind of transition out of this autopilot mode. And listen carefully, because this is not only important for eating habits, it's just generally very important for any habits you may have that run on autopilot and seem disturbing to you, like biting your nails or any other habit. You first need to even notice what's happening. So that's important. So in that case, what do you want to do? At some point, when you either feel the need to grab some food unconsciously, or you even have started eating already, you want to mark it down every time this happens. At the beginning, when you will do this, maybe you will forget once or twice, and that's okay. But just for maybe one day or for a couple of days, get into the habit of either having a little piece of paper or a little notebook where you can mark it down whenever you feel the need to eat, or you have started eating, or you can write it down on your phone. What's really important is that you notice what you're doing and that you get into the habit of kind of pausing your brain, because it's on autopilot. And the best thing is normally to take some sort of small action, because it really forces your brain to get out of autopilot and do some effort and kind of get back to the more rational and conscious side. So that's probably what I would start with, and you will already see whether it's difficult for you to always mark it down and note when you are doing this unconscious eating. That's already going to be a good first step. Some people may be used to meditating as well, and it can be good enough to just pause and make a mental note. In my case, for instance, I've been practicing daily meditation for a couple of years now, and I feel like it's giving me enough strength to sometimes just, be aware of what's happening and take mental notes somehow, and it feels strong enough so that I can work with that in the long term. But if you don't feel like it's really bringing you out of the autopilot, then really stick to the action. Really take action. Mark something down, as I said, on a journal or your phone, doesn't matter. Just do something and pause your brain. The next step you want to do is you want to start understanding why you're doing what you're doing. So why did I say that you would first take maybe one day or a couple of days to just mark it down? I think this is important because very often we just tend to set extremely high expectations to ourselves, and it makes it very difficult for us to make consistent progress, because we see other people changing, and sometimes we kind of are under this weird impression that they were able to change all at once in one day, but most probably that's not the case for them. Most probably it's not going to be the case for you either. And when it comes to food, let me tell you, and this is not to discourage you, because I have made the path myself and I'm still actually working on it. But when it comes to foods, it's a habit that I would call a hyper complex habit. that is made of a lot of sub-habits in the food and eating habit itself. So I think it's hyper complex, and it's also related to like some instincts we have, which is why you shouldn't be rushing yourself. You should just take your time and, set the basis right, notice what you're doing, and then get to the next level. That being said, number 2, ask yourself why. Why is it that right now you were going to, or you do grab your food and just eat it unconsciously? Now it's consciously, but why did you even do that? Why do you want it? Is it because you feel thirsty? Is it because you're actually hungry? Is it because you are bored? Because you're stressed? I mean, there's a lot of reasons that could cause you to eat, and now is the phase to brainstorm about it. Don't make it a PhD, just write the first reason that comes to your mind, and if you keep doing that for a couple of days, I'm pretty sure that some sort of pattern should start arising. And maybe the first time you will be a little bit clueless, but after 2 or 3 times maybe you start having an idea, and most probably the reasons will differ along the day and the days. But maybe you will have like 3 main reasons why you normally start eating unconsciously, and then you can finally, start understanding yourself and having the right basis to start working on it. So you've taken a few days to mark down when you are doing it. You've taken now a few days more to like brainstorm every time on why you are doing it. And now we get to the fun phase, which is trial and error, or I like to call it the failing is great phase, because now you have to, basically do a little bit of trial and error process. So you have to make an assumption of what could help you the next time you have a certain reason why you are going to start eat unconsciously. So if, for instance, it is stress, maybe your plan will be that whenever you feel that, you sit down for 5 minutes and you do some breathing exercise, or you do some slight meditation exercise, or you get out and have a small walk in a green area, something that will just bring your stress levels down and most likely, answer this kind of problem you have, to which you were going to answer with unconscious eating. This is not going to be easy, so make sure to have a specific plan, like do a brainstorm for any situation that pops up, have some ideas of what could help, and then comes the implementation phase, where you just for a couple of days you have to just try it out, and you have to be very forgiving and self-compassionate if it doesn't work out, because most likely it will take a lot of sometimes just a little bit and sometimes a lot of fine-tuning for you to be able to have the right answer for the right problem, right? So from there on, I cannot guarantee you how long this is going to take, but if you do it consistently and you're nice to yourself and you take it slow, I think that after some time you should definitely be able to have the right response. And the whole process of marking down when you start having this craving for food unconsciously, and pausing, asking yourself why, and trying to come up with an answer that you've actually prepared before, if you keep just this loop, it will already kind of slow you down when it comes to eating unconsciously. So that's a little bit how I would approach this problem. And once again, I have another video on failing that could help when it comes to that topic. I recommend you watch it, because you will understand that even like the specialists of habits also can run into that problem, and they don't, have a miracle solution. They also have to start listening to themselves, pause and think about idea, brainstorm, try it out and adjust. So it's a very normal process, and I recommend you train yourself to do it with a lot of self-compassion. I want to now finish this video with a little bit of my story on that, just so that you guys don't feel alone out there, and maybe some of it can help you, I don't know. So I definitely know what it is to do this unconscious eating thing, and also binge eating and stress eating and a lot of things like that. So from the past, I have had a lot of problems with these food cravings, and I know that for a long time it was very much related to stress phases, to lack of sleep, and then I would head towards, like very addictive types of foods like sweets. So it would be a little bit of a vicious circle, because I would maybe lack sleep, or I would be stressed, or even both, and then I would head straight to sweets, and after a couple of days this would become a new habit and make it much more difficult to break, the bad cycle in the future. But another thing that I've noticed is that even without stress and without lack of sleep, another big trigger for me were social situations. So if I was spending a vacation or living with people who were big on food and who were eating very often and also a little bit too much maybe, I would find it very difficult not to share the practice of eating food with the people around me. So if they would say eat breakfast at 8, lunch at 12, coffee and cake at 4 p.m. and then dinner at 7 p.m. and then another snack at 10 p.m., I would find it very difficult not to participate in the social practice. And this, in the past, would cause me a lot of damage, because if I were eating so often and just in a such automatic way, because I was just basically mirroring and repeating what people around me were doing and participating in the social situation, at some point my body just didn't know what hunger was anymore. So I would just overeat because I didn't know where to stop anymore. And this was very problematic to me. So one thing that helped me a lot, and maybe it can help you too, I don't know, but I'm just throwing that out there, was intermittent fasting. What I'm doing now on a daily basis is normally the 16 to 8 intermittent fasting, meaning that for 16 hours a day I don't eat, and for 8 hours a day I have my slot where I can eat. Normally at the moment it's from noon to 8 p.m. But depending on my social situation, I could shift those hours. That's not a problem to me. Normally my preference is just to skip breakfast and just have coffee, tea or water instead, because I find that for me personally that's what works best and it's the easiest. And once I had put that as a rule, it's really easy to stick to it. And sometime in the past I've even also used the fasting 1 day a week method. So if that's something for you, you can also explore with that. I think you always have to find the balance, what works for you, what feels easiest, but also what works in your social circumstance. What I found for me personally is that first of all, this intermittent fasting kind of set easy rules for me, which means that, for instance, in the danger zone, which I like to call the zone after 8 p.m., where you start getting tired, you don't have much willpower anymore, you have a clear rule, which is it's past 8 p.m., I don't eat. And sometimes when you manage through habit to set such a clear rule that is binary, it makes it so much easier for you, because you don't have to make any decision anymore if you eat that or you don't, or you eat because you're hungry or not. You just don't eat because it's too late. That's it, game over. And that helps me a lot personally. It makes my life much easier. But the other very positive effect that intermittent fasting had for me was actually to push a reset button. And when you maybe have a weekend where you did overdo it because there was a party here, a party there, and a lot of social gatherings, you come back on Monday and boom, you are back to intermittent fasting. It's your daily practice from noon to 8 and that's it. Or you even skip a day from food because you do once a day, you do a fasting. And then all of a sudden your body gets to a point where it feels hunger again, at least empty stomach hunger, or like some hunger that is not just low blood sugar hunger. And it helps you reset the button and kind of pass that level of autopilot and learn again to kind of sink into your body and feel, when am I actually really hungry and when does it really make sense for me to eat? One little small tip at the end is, if you want, you can also kind of have some like beneficial routines that you put in place. Let's say if you're going to eat, try and put 1 or 2 habits first, which is, you know, marking down, okay, I'm gonna eat, but maybe you wanna have 1 sip or 2 of water. Maybe you wanna have 1 or 2, you know, breathing moments, and this could, you know, even just take a few seconds, but already set your body right that even if you're gonna eat, you are not, or you are less going to eat from a place of autopilot or stress or anything that maybe will put your body into a bad setting for eating. That's it for today. I hope this video was really useful for you, especially for this 1 subscriber. If you recognize yourself, let me know if this has been helpful, and if you have further questions, let me know as well. I'd be happy to actually even just set up a call and discuss and help whatever I can. Let me know with that, and for all the others, please subscribe if you want to help me. Leave a comment, either good or bad, to let me know how I'm doing and what I should be doing in the future. And I hope to see you in the next video.